With 2025 almost being over, I want to talk about what we could expect for No Man's Sky in 2026. I'm Controlled Chaos. In this video, I'm going to talk about the 5 main things I'd like to see. Let's go ahead and get into it. First off, I want to see the mineable resources like the copper, the indium, and stuff like that be put underground and not just in the surface. If you want an example, look at Stars Reach. Stars Reach put under the ground and you have to actually prospect for it and stuff like that. I think that would be a cool gameplay mechanic that Hello Games could learn from and go from there, and would be really fun and make finding those resources a lot harder instead of just having to look and skim the ground with your vehicle and stuff like that. That's the 5th one. The reason I put it number 5 is there's a lot of coding that probably Hello Games is going to have to do to make that feasible, due to the fact that they're using their own game engine and stuff like that. It just makes it sort of really hard for them to do, depending on how integrated where the resources spawns on the planets is into the whole entire system. But let's move on to number 4. New base parts for building bases, mainly a Corvette landing pad. We do not have Corvette landing pads. We can just land near our bases and stuff like that. I'd like to see Corvette landing pads put in that possibly also allow us to create new Corvettes, just sort of like the landing pads on the space stations do. Would be really awesome. It'd be easy for them to do. All that they have to do is just create the model, link the code that they have for the landing pads on the space stations, and like I said, including the workstations to be able to create your own would be really cool, because I can see players creating landing pads that look like, you know, work docks and stuff like that. That'd be amazingly cool. But that's number 4. Number 3, new Corvette parts. I spend more time on my Corvette than I do on base, which is why I made this a separate one, and I wanted to separate it out, is being able to create different looking ships. I want to see more wing parts so we can get the swept back wings, the forward swept wings and stuff like that. Get angled wing parts, both, you know, when you rotate them, it either makes the wings angled forward or angled back, and then also being able to angle the wings up and angle the wings down so we can have diagonal arcing down or up wings, and then also the forward and back, and mixing those two together could get some really cool parts, but mainly parts that will allow us to create nice, smooth, seamless inward curves for Corvette parts, because we got the outer curves one where we can do the rounded, nice, smooth curves, but a rounded inwards curve, or like when you have two angled pieces or two pieces meeting together, having that, instead of it being a sharp edge going into a rounded curve, would be really nice. It would add to the look and capabilities of that kind of thing. Would be awesome. Number 2, factions and faction wars. We have 5 factions in the game. I'd love to see players be able to join a faction and a war sort of erupt. And the great thing is there's so much gameplay mechanics that could be done on this. It could be based on how players interact with each race when in the factions. And it could do things like, oh, okay, well, these 2 factions aren't fighting each other. They're fighting this one faction, so let's do a whole entire thing where they team up, and an expedition can be done where it's, oh, the 2 that work together, the sides that work together well and don't attack each other but attack a certain side, will end up in the regular game after the expedition being allies and that kind of thing, and it would really add new gameplay mechanics to expeditions. And that would be interesting because then you could do another expedition where maybe those two don't ally up, but they end up attacking each other. So now they've declared war and stuff like that would be really, really interesting. And then between expeditions, you just sort of be gathering resources and seeing the fighting and stuff like that would be an amazing idea. The number one thing I really want to see in the game is player-owned space stations. We have the new space stations. We've had them for like a year and a half now of the new space stations, and they're modular, so you can customize them, make them look good. Plus, we also have that core in the space station that you can interact with and stuff like that. That could be used for like naming the space station, stuff like that. And just like how the new settlement update that happened this year, it affects the economy. What if the person who owns the space station determines the taxation and things like that and determines the solar system type thing? So they can improve things and improve the economy even more with owning the space station, depending on the rules and policies that they put in effect. The bargaining of trades and stuff like that would be really interesting and would have a new gameplay mechanics there and strategic purposes going on. It would be really interesting to see there. But what I would like to know is what are the things that you would like to see in 2026 for No Man's Sky. Comment down below, let me know. I'd love to hear from you, and YouTube thinks you will like this video next. Have a great day.